Hello, I'm Marcus Brix with the CattleFax Closing Bell. Today's Closing Bell is sponsored by Farmgate Animal Health. This week, the U.S. Bureau of Economic Analysis released revised GDP data for the first quarter of 2024. U.S. gross domestic product reportedly grew at an annualized rate of 1.3% from January to March, revised down from an earlier estimate at 1.6%, marking the slowest growth quarter since second quarter of 2022, a period when CPI inflation was averaging 7 to 9%. First quarter growth at 1.3% compares to fourth quarter 2023 annualized growth at 3.4%. Year-over-year inflation in Q4 and Q1 was near equal, averaging 3.24% across each quarter. The inflation rate is slowly moderating, but the past several years of high prices have been backloaded into price levels. Consumer spending makes up roughly two-thirds of the U.S. GDP figures. U.S. personal consumption expenditures, a number which is ultimately affected by price inflation, was up 5.3% year-over-year in April. At $19.34 trillion, personal consumption is currently about $4.5 trillion higher than before the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic. This data was also subject to recent revisions. Adjusted for inflation, first quarter growth to personal consumption expenditures was adjusted lower from 3.4% down to 2.6%. This downward revision to PCE was enough to create a measurable change to the Atlanta Federal Reserve's GDP Now model forecast. Updated on May 31st, the GDP Now growth forecast for the second quarter 2024 is 2.7%, down from more than 4% at the start of May. 2.7% growth in the second quarter would place U.S. GDP per capita between $87,000 and $88,000 per person. The United States has the world's largest economy, yet adjusted on a per capita basis, the U.S. ranks in the 6th spot, just beneath Singapore. China owns the world's second largest economy, but on a per capita basis does not rank in the top 50 countries worldwide. In fact, the International Monetary Fund estimates the global average GDP per capita to be roughly $13,800. China's GDP per capita is projected to be just shy of that number at $13,100 per person. Regardless, with a population more than 4 times the size of the U.S., China retains their status as the world's top meat importer. Thanks for watching. Remember to visit CattleFax.com, become a member, see the latest market news and analysis.